Hi everyone, this is Nikki Rowland and today I have a layout for Bella Blvd and I'm using the brand new My Candy Girl collection, which is great fun, full of pretty colours and girly things and some not so girly things too, so it's quite generic. One of the papers in this kit, in this collection, has donuts all over it. My children, both, three of them even, all love donuts. We had pink donuts and I snapped a photo of them all eating their donuts together, which was quite cute. So that was the perfect photo for this paper. So my initial thought was that I would fussy cut out all the donuts and create some kind of grid or background with those fussy cut donuts. So that's what I'm doing right now, just spending some time cutting them out. What I realised as I was cutting them out was that I was shying away from the brown ones. Now, as much as I love chocolate, I'm not a big fan of the colour brown. So I think that the colour schemes are prettier without brown in them, so I decided to pick out the colours, the donuts on the fussy cut donut sheet that did not contain chocolate donuts. I've picked out the heart-shaped pink ones and dark pink ones, and then I've gone for pink sprinkles with like a yellow outline, and then I've gone for the blue ones. In the end, I discard the yellow ones too, and I just go with a colour scheme of light pink, dark pink, and blue. The colour scheme has come out really well. I'm super happy with how things are looking. Okay, so there we go. I've got my donuts fussy cut. I have got less than I initially had intended, I'm going to see if I can do something with this stripy paper from the My Candy Girl collection. So I really love these papers. There's one of these in some of the other collections as well, where they have these big bold stripes, I was keen to use them. I always think they have a really big impact whenever you use those on a layout, so I thought I would use that. So I chopped up all of the stripes and discarded a couple, and then I decided to go for, like I said, this colour scheme of the light pink, dark pink and blue, and I've ended up with 4 strips. So I've got 3 different shades of pink and the blue at the bottom. So I did think about putting them on the slant, but then they wouldn't have been long enough to come off of the edges of the paper, the cardstock. So I've just gone for straight across. I should probably do one of these going vertically as well, because I normally stick with horizontal because that's how the paper was intended. But just because it was designed that way doesn't mean it has to stay that way. So I've cut the stripes apart, I've distressed the edges, and I'm putting them back together onto a piece of white cardstock, and then I will have a white area at the bottom of the layout for my title, perhaps, or something else. But yeah, so I've distressed the edges, and now I am just kind of moving them up a little bit, you know, like creasing them back, so they have a good amount of texture and dimension. I was slightly over on the right, so I just trimmed that off. Now I've got to think about how I will put the rest of this layout together. So obviously I have my fussy cut donuts, and I definitely want to use those because I spent ages cutting them out. So I'm thinking that I will just embellish kind of colour on colour along the big stripes. And my photo can kind of hang off the bottom section, yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. So I'm just going to spend a little while faffing around and deciding what to do and how I can make this work, because at the moment there's not enough on there. So as much as I have got loads of donuts, I don't have anything else. So I need to go through and find some other things that will work. So I've just grabbed the ephemera and I'm going through that. That's the My Candy Girl ephemera. I'm going through that and I'm just pulling out some things that I think will work. So just spending some time going through that whole pack. I mean, there's millions of things in there, and I'm just putting out and putting it onto the layout, whatever might work. And it doesn't have to be in the right place at the moment, or I haven't put anything in the places I'm planning to actually stick them, but I'm just putting things out that I think will work and then putting them onto the layout, and then I can pull it all off again and rearrange it. So yeah, I'm just still carrying on going through here. I've got a few things. I love the hearts that have got like half and half hearts. And there's some lovely frame words and things. I've pulled out a red phrase there, and I'm just wondering if I can use it, because the phrase is good, but the colour is slightly wrong. I'm also having a look at the sticker sheet to see if there's anything I can use on the sticker sheet. And then I realised there were 3 border stripes that were similar colours to the colours I'm using. So I decided to use those onto this layout. Now, they were a bit too long, as in they needed to be... they were a bit too long. They needed to be slightly smaller than the width of the layout. But in order to achieve this, I didn't want to just chop off the end, because then I wouldn't have a nice finished scallop at the end. So I decided to cut in the middle and overlap in the middle, so that I had a nice scallop on each side as a finish. Does that make sense? And then I figured I could probably hide the join with my photo or with some form of embellishment. So that works on the blue one and the dark pink one. I get to hide those with my photo. But on the pink one above, I don't hide it. It's still on show. Yeah, I should have covered it up, but it just didn't work out that way. So it's still on show, but I don't think anyone would notice. I hope anyway. We'll see if anyone comments. Well, they won't. They might do now that I have mentioned it. I shouldn't have said anything. Right, I've just mounted my photo onto a piece of the My Candy Girl donut paper, but I've used the other side, so it's got pink sprinkles all over the other side. So I've mounted my photo onto that, and I've got some tissue paper as well. I just wanted to soften the layer between the photo, the bright pink, and the dark background. So I thought I'd put a layer of white tissue paper in between just to kind of soften it a bit. And it looks really good. I've torn the bottom edge as well, and it just gives that extra bit of separation. I did consider using a doily, because doilies remind me of donuts. You know, they kind of go together, don't they, ish, and they're circular. But the doily just didn't look right, so I discarded that. Okay, so I've got my photo in place. I can now start to add everything else and hope that everything will come together nicely. At this point, I'm thinking, oh, it's just not really working. What am I going to do? How am I going to make this work a bit better? I just didn't like how everything was completely spread out, and I felt that perhaps I needed to cluster things together a bit more. So at the moment, I'm just a bit aimless. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just, I've got that phrase, I'm going to stick that colour on colour, so that's easy enough. But everything else is just not really working that well. So here I come. I'm going to try to cluster, because that's ultimately probably what I'm best at. Clustering things in groups together rather than just randomly spread out all over the page tends to be more my style. So yeah, so I'm going to start clustering things together and see if I can make that work. And in the end, I end up with, you can see it's starting to form now, a vertical design. So I've got those 2 hearts at the top, and then the blue donuts at the bottom, and they've all ended up in this kind of vertical line, and that makes me happy. That works so much better than what I had going on before, and it's very like me. It's what I tend to do quite a lot. So yeah, so that kind of came together by accident. I hadn't really thought that I would aim for a vertical design, but it just kind of happened that way, and I was really happy with how it started to look. It looked a lot less chaotic when everything was together, rather than spread out all over the page. So yeah, I'm happy with how that is coming together, and I'm pleased that I spent some time moving things around, shuffling a bit and faffing a bit, because I got there eventually. Okay, so I've skipped forward a little bit now, and you can see that I still have everything's stuck down now, and you can see that I still have everything in that vertical design, although I do have some other bits and pieces over towards the right hand side of the layout that are kind of like bursting off of the initial line there. Yeah, I just spent some time getting everything stuck down. I'm still getting everything stuck down. I've also just added my title, so I've used the Aria stickers in the ice colour. I have I've used the word love in Aria, and then I've got and sprinkles in the Florence, and the same colour, so the ice as well. And I'm actually going to stitch through the word love, and then I actually accidentally go on to the word and as well. But I'll do that later on. You won't see that yet. Yeah, I'm getting everything stuck in place. And I'm just finishing off with a few bits and pieces. So the sprinkles, I love these sprinkles. They are so cute. They're like enamel dots or enamel shapes, but they're sprinkle shaped. So I've just pulled out the right colours, and I've added those to those sections there. Yeah, it's all coming together really well. It's nearly finished now, and I just want to add a few splatters of white paint around the background, so I'm just adding that with my shaker. Yeah, I think that's me done. I do have to write some journaling, just a little couple of lines underneath the title. There we go, it's all finished now. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you have enjoyed this layout. I really love how it turned out. Check out the My Candy Girl collection. It's super duper cute, and it doesn't just have to be for girls. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me. That was Nikki Rowland for Bella Blvd.